From my history and just dealing with different types of men, even with the father dynamic, the son dynamic, people just want you to listen.
If you're raised to feel like it's a sign of weakness to talk about your feelings and to share how you feel, it probably feels very foreign.
Men have told me that they weren't allowed to show emotion.
Right. And it really, really hurt me because I feel like I let a lot of people down. And I have never spoken about this publicly before. Hi, and welcome to our very first episode of Overdressed, the podcast. I'm your host, Candace.
And I'm your co-host, Shayna J.
And we are so excited that you could join us today. Now, when you think about overdress, the word overdress, you probably think about someone who's over the top, right? Like wearing sequins to a barbecue. But to us, overdress is all about intentionality. It's about being intentional in the way you choose to show up, the energy that you want to bring, and who you want to be. And so that's exactly the space that we want to create here at Overdress. We want to talk about the topics that mean the most to us, and we want to be intentional about the information that we share with you. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. Miss Shayna J.
Hey.
My friend. So we actually go way back. Our paths have crossed again. So before we get into the topic, let's just share a little bit about us for just a second. So you and I, we went to high school together.
Yes, Whitehaven.
Go Tigers.
Yes.
So lost contact for a couple of years, reconnected. We worked on the Bluff City Bellas project, which was a reality show that I created with 3 of my friends. And it really allowed me to dabble in 3 things that I'm really passionate about, which is fashion, friendship, and philanthropy. Yeah. Of course, with a little drama sprinkled in.
Yes, it was fun.
Yeah, and so we brought you in to do season 2 and season 3 of the reunion episode. And I want to ask you real quick, too, what was your experience on that? Because from our point of view, you were like right on time. You were exactly what the show needed, because while we had all this little drama going on in the group, you were like, y'all need to get it together. Y'all need to work it out. So how was the experience for you on those projects?
It was actually fun. It was very enlightening, and I was really tickled because I was like, these people. Like, let me get my popcorn. I'm like Michael Jackson in the front row, because what's going on? I just wanted to see that the vibe with women.
Yes.
It was very positive, and I love the energy with you all. And I was just glad to be there, to be a part of something that brought out just, it wasn't a negative thing. Because, a lot of reality shows bring out the negative parts of women. Yeah. But you all got along, and that was something that was a big dynamic for me. Yeah. Just to be around empowerment with women.
Yeah.
You know?
We always had like a little bit of drama, but we always end up working it out. Yeah. And then even on the reunion episodes that you were a part of, you were always big about that. Like, y'all need to fix this. Yeah. So you brought a dynamic that the show really needed. And so we filmed season 2 and season 3. Season 3, unfortunately, never aired. And, I have had several people, message me recently asking, what happened to Bluff City Bellas? When are you going to bring Bluff City Bellas back? And I have never spoken about this publicly before, but I feel like now that we're in this space, it's probably a perfect opportunity to kind of clear the air on some things. But there were some things that happened behind the scenes in post-production on the technical side that we just couldn't overcome. And so I had to make the very difficult decision to put the show on hiatus. And it really, really hurt me because I feel like I let a lot of people down, including you, because you were a part of it and you gave your time to the show. And it just really hurt me. But I do want to say directly to everybody who was involved in the show, to all my cast members, to the production team, to everyone who supported the show, to business owners who allowed us to film in their businesses. I appreciate you so much. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I said I was not going to get emotional, so I'm just going to punch through this. But even though Bluff City Bellas is gone for now, doesn't mean it's gone for good. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the topic of the day. So we all know that June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
And so today we're going to talk about ways that we can support the men in our lives, and not just for the month of June, but every day. And when I say the men in our lives, I'm not just talking about romantic relationships like husbands and boyfriends. It could be your father, your son, your brother, your cousin, your platonic male friends. So I wanted to really dig into that and get your opinion on some things, Shannon, because I know you probably got a lot to share on the subject. But, we know that there is a stigma, especially in the Black community, about men getting help for their mental health. They were just, I think a lot of times boys were raised to, not show their emotions, not be expressive. And I think the way that shows up, and I'm not a man, I think the way that shows up is that they feel uncomfortable talking about things. They probably carry the weight of whatever they're dealing with in silence. And so what are some things, let's talk about some ways that we can probably support the men in our lives. I think the best thing for, probably the best advice I have is maybe just being a safe space.
Yeah.
Making them feel comfortable to talk.
From my history and just dealing with different types of men, even with the father dynamic, the son dynamic, people just want you to listen.
Yeah.
You also have to look at the background too. I come up in a situation where men have told me that they weren't allowed to show emotion.
Right.
That it made you weak. And so it's kind of like, where can they go and just be themselves and be human?
Yeah.
So therapy is always a good place.
Absolutely.
A lot of men don't feel comfortable with expressing themselves to strangers.
That's right. And I think really they probably don't feel comfortable expressing themselves to a lot of people, because I think it's probably a lot of deprogramming that has to happen, because if you're raised to feel like it's a sign of weakness to talk about your feelings and to share how you feel, it probably feels very foreign to then be encouraged to talk. You know what I mean? So I think I agree with you. I think therapy is something that a lot of people probably don't utilize, but it's so helpful and so important.
Yeah.
And just being a safe space, letting that person know that it's okay for you to share. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to listen. But also, let me take a step back. I do feel like if you're a person, and it takes a lot of maturity now to actually come to terms with this, but if you're a person that feels like you can't listen to a man, objectively, you can't listen because you feel like you're going to interject, cut them off, insert your own opinion, then I think with wisdom, it's probably a good idea to say, hey, I'm probably not the one to talk to, but I do want you to talk to somebody. And then lead them hey, maybe you can talk to a therapist or a counselor or an advisor or somebody trusted in the family that, So I think either being the safe space or giving them room to find a safe space.
And not feel judged.
That's the key thing. That is the key thing.
So even with my son, because I do have a son, I try to just teach him just to be open. I'm here. You can express whatever you want to say or feel or do. Let me know.
Yeah.
And I can guide you in the way that you need to go. Again, it's no judgment. However you feel, that's how you feel.
Right.
But let me go ahead and give you the consequences or a bigger picture to those emotions.
Right. That's right.
I want the men to get the help that they need, and I want them to feel comfortable, and then get something to take away, okay, so I said this and then someone gave me a good objective.
Right.
I can go ahead and take that, marinate on it.
Right.
Pray to God. A lot of people need a relationship with God or whomever it is that you serve, so you can become more open and be, accepting of yourself.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of men that not safe with themselves.
That's
don't
right.
Feel
starts on the inside.
It
may
does.
deal with some insecurities, things maybe from their
does.
childhood. It all matters, and I think it does all shape a person's mental well-being. I think that's some really great advice, Shayna.
Exactly.
And then you have a different perspective because you are raising a son.
Yes, a Black man.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I tell my son, just even with dealing with the environment, just if you feel a certain type of way, think first. Just what would you do in those 3 minutes? Just think and then do.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Just think about the consequences.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think this was a really great discussion, very timely. I want to say to my viewers, it's June. Reach out to the men in your life that you love. Let them know that you love and that you support them and that we're all in this together. And I think that's going to do it for our very first episode of Overdressed.
And happy Father's Day to the fathers.
Father's Day and all the things. Yeah. So thank you all so much for joining us here at Overdressed. We'll see you next time.